Hello everyone, Starglide is with you. Welcome to my first walkthrough of the games. This is our TerraFirm, one of the most realistic and hardcore builds in Minecraft. I'm going to live the Stone Age here. I'm going to fight wildlife, and maybe even fly into space. By the way, I have never honestly passed through Minecraft. Either I took the finished loot and went to kill the dragon, or I was just doing construction, so this is my first walkthrough. And immediately in a hardcore build. Well, not about that. I hope I have enough nerves to go through this assembly. Let's go. What are we doing in a regular mine? Let's spawn and get a tree. But it won't work that way here. We find the stones. I've already found it. And we make the first primitive axe, knocking it out of the stone like that. Then you need to find a stick, combine it with the head of the axe. And now we have an axe that can be cut down a tree. Oh, and the speed is what? And I'm still cutting. I think it's obsidian. It's faster to mine with a stone pickaxe. So, the first tree. Well, we'll get the next one right away, so that we have enough for the first night. Plus seedlings. Plus a tree. The 1st of June of the 1000th year. Yes, I was thrown far into the past. Listen, and this is a very good spawn, as I understand it. I've looked at a few years of gameplay on this build, and apparently I'm in a very good place. There's a beach over there. It remains to find clay, and you can start building a house near the clay deposit. I thought they were pumpkins, but this is some kind of Poseidonia. All right. I saw a lake nearby. We need to go there, get some drinking water, and just do the cleaning. By the way, there are quite a lot of points here. And this is still only the first page. Is it possible to eat it? So, this can be cut out. Okay, I'm not going to cut it yet, because I don't know what to cut. Of course, you can cut it with a knife and get pumpkin pulp. And now it will be edible. And let's do it right now. The blade. A knife. We throw a knife here, a pumpkin, and get pumpkin pulp. Really, I don't want to eat anymore. I only want to drink. But at least we have food. Oh, wheat? I'll cut the wheat right away. And if I meet cows, it will be possible to lure them with the help of cereals. Now the most important thing is to find clay. I may have found my future home for the next 6 months or a year. In my climate, in principle, it will not be difficult to find clay, in theory. But I don't see her yet. Okay, let's go to the cave. And the cave turned out to be a fault, which is quite uncomfortable to live in. But there is a small depression in the ground, and temporarily the night can be experienced here. Let's probably do that, especially since it's already getting dark. There is. From the first time, we throw firewood and make torches. Great. Now you can walk at night. It was completely dark. And what to do at night? I don't want to sit on my ass exactly. I want to look for clay. I think we should go deeper into the forest somewhere. There are more chances to find clay there, although this is generally a mountainous area. I'll probably walk to this lake. And here the canyon still needs to be bypassed. Let's have more torches. By the way, I've heard the theory that you can put a torch like this and poke it with a stick. Yes, great. No need to wait for the stick to light up in the fire. We just quickly made ourselves 32 torches. Is there someone here? Damn it. The fire went out. Did I hear the block? Well, whatever. Let's get out of here. Again. So. It's not funny. Freeze. The first one is there. Take an axe and catch up. Come on. Great. The first meal. Fresh skin and 9 raw venison. Well, we won't die of hunger on the first day. No, friend. I'm sorry, I wasted my time. Me. I'm already leaving. Everything. He's not attacking. It's fine. Hunting is not very successful. And where did I find copper? I didn't even pay attention, but I had copper in my inventory from somewhere. And in a good way it was necessary to put a mark and remember the area. I went down to some lowland, and right now I'm going to light a fire and prepare prey. And then it is necessary to restore HP+. Plus, I'm a little hungry. Yes, it's a pity it didn't work out with the moose. At first, I thought of attacking him from afar, and in vain I did not listen to my inner voice. But I was too lazy to make a new spear. The bladder. And what is this for? Yeah. And this is quite useful material. I think we'll leave him. It is needed for the flask. June 2nd. 5 in the morning. Dawn, by the way. We extinguish the fire. We take the ashes. Ash is useful for fertilizers. Well, since it's dawn, we can finally safely go look for clay. Here, by the way, is the lake that I wanted to come to. And somehow it doesn't even smell like clay here. It's copper. That's it, we live here along the way. But there would be more clay. Without clay, we can't do anything with this copper. And considering that there is quite a lot of it scattered here, there is a voluminous vein of copper under us. But first of all, it is necessary to find clay, and then go for copper. There's solid turf everywhere. Oh, here? That's it. This is the plant, and there will definitely be clay. Yes, here it is. We definitely live by that lake now. It will be just possible to grow crops near the water. Well, you don't need to run far for drinking water. That's it, the shovel broke. There's some clay left. I think we'll dig it out later. More copper. Not bad. And now the most interesting thing. We need to melt this copper. Well, to do this, make a jug. We create a vessel shape from clay. Well, I will also create a few more forms. It is a vessel for water, as well as a large vessel. This is our primitive backpack and the first chest. The first storage. 2 more forms will fit here. I accidentally took them away. Therefore, we will do it. To do. Therefore, we will immediately make molds for filling the pickaxe. In theory, like this. No. Well, maybe like this. Yes. Here it is. The mold for filling the pickaxe is ready, and the mold for filling the geological hammer. And we pack it all on top with a point of logs. We throw a torch. Well, we are waiting for it to light up. It remains to wait 8 minutes, or rather 8 hours of game time. Our vessels will be burned, and they can be used for their intended purpose. Okay, we have wheat seeds and pumpkin seeds. We definitely need to grow it, but before that we need to create a small tree warehouse or a woodpile. It has 4 slots, and it holds 4 logs for each slot. And there is a small clay warehouse under the tree. We create a hoe. We take all the seeds that are there and the beds. The benefit here is that we have vanilla. Well, almost vanilla. Just digging up the ground. And we plant seeds. Really need to look at the humidity. Humidity is 100% good for these seeds. But for pumpkin, the humidity is too high for a pumpkin. It needs 80%, so we retreat a couple of cells. Look at how much there is. 74. Perfect. That's it, she'll grow up here. And I had fertilizer somewhere. Let's fertilize the pumpkin right away and fertilize the wheat. Well, the primeval haven is ready. I hope the crops don't die. Look, while I was cleaning up the garbage, I found a cave. Right next to our shelter. And here and the sheets of Chernozem. I thought it was some kind of breed. Of course, it's scary to go down into it. Come on. Listen up. I thought it was going deep down, but it's kind of a dead end. And there's even water here, as if we could live here, or right under the open sky. Something I like better under the trees. Yes, a cave, some kind of shelter, security. But it seems like here, under the trees, it's not bad either. After all, nature, the climate is not bad, the views are beautiful, the pond is overgrown, although it does not fit in a little. But we will clean it up over time. How many minutes are there left? 1 minute. Well, or 1 hour. Dark stars. Wow, the atmosphere. Well, we make a fire. I hear there's a hole burned out. But first of all, the fire pit. So, what do we have here? And we have ready-made items here. And our first chest, the first storage. By the way, this is also how the backpack works. The fire is burning, and we have a jug, a vessel, and 2 molds. We'll probably get a jug right now. That's it. Now we can drink like civilized people from a jug. And you can also whistle. Dawn is near. It's 4 in the morning. And today, we have a lot to do. Today, we have to at least cast copper tools, sort out the food, and build some kind of shelter. And then to live under the trees, well, such a thing. So the first rays of the sun appeared. Well, with the dawn rays, let's see what we have with the crops. Growth of 0%. And by the way, it's strange. They seem to have grown by 1% in my last series. Or I got something mixed up. So I think I'll start with copper, because that's the most important thing so far. Our crops are growing, I don't have any more seeds. And the brass instruments, the most necessary. Chop with a wooden axe. Well, not an exciting activity, I'll tell you. To cast a copper pickaxe, we need 144 miles of a bucket of melted copper. How much do we have in 1 ingot? And there are 16 miles of buckets in 1 ingot. But we definitely have enough for 1 tool. By the way, we must not forget that approximately here is the center of the copper vein. And when we develop, it will be necessary to dig copper there. As a result, I collected exactly 144 millibucks of copper. And here it's not even there anymore. As if specially designed purely for 1 instrument. I had a vessel somewhere. Here it is. And I will immediately take a mold for smelting a pickaxe. A geological hammer is not particularly useful to us now, because it makes sense if we have nothing to extract minerals with. In theory, I am now loading native copper into a vessel, melting it. Quickly, until the copper has hardened, I open the vessel and pour this mold. Copper was put in. And by the way, we don't have straw. It turns out that we have a shortage of not only straw, but also wood. Yeah, a little boring. I think I will immediately spend all the strength of the axe so that the tree has enough in reserve. And then it seems to have collected a lot of wood, but in the end it somehow ended. I hope the rain doesn't put out the pottery pit. But the most important thing is not to forget about it. Because if I forget about it, the copper in the vessel will cool down, and I will have to do everything all over again. We lay logs and throw a torch. Everything is classic. The rain didn't hurt. Great. And that's it. While the pit burns down, we are engaged in cutting wood. While I was chopping down the forest, it had already rained and, well, the pit is burning. But the fire went out. Unpleasant, but fixable. I decided to plant trees around my base, and there will be a kind of living wall. By the way, how much is left in the pit? 27 seconds. Perfectly simple. Meanwhile, during the day, the plants grew by 0%. I feel it will be a long time. The pit is burning down. It's dark. So I don't see anything. We take the vessel, click on it, put the pickaxe mold here. And she's pouring. It seems that everything was done correctly. The shape of the pickaxe head. We throw it into the river. Cool it down. We break down the form, and there is. We, with 1 foot already in the Copper Age. Well, like in the Copper Age. Now, we have 1 foot in the Copper Age. What speed she has. And that's not bad. It's very good, only. Can I craft from this stone? She doesn't mind blocks. And how to get a block? All right. The main thing is that it extracts minerals. It remains to find copper on a geological hammer or find an open deposit. Well, we are supposed to be able to mine iron for her. Although there are alloys here, and I won't craft iron just like that, as far as I know. All right. The main thing is that we got copper tools. With the help of a pickaxe, I will finally be able to hollow out a small depression in my wall, no matter how it collapses. And there will be some kind of shelter. Only here the supports will be useful to us, and here we have big problems. I just realized that now. I made a pickaxe, but a saw. We don't have a saw. And it was necessary to craft a saw, because with the help of a saw, we can cut logs, get boards, and craft a workbench. And it's as if I need a workbench now much more than a pickaxe. And we don't have borutas anymore. We still can't craft normally. We can't craft props either. I am in a dead-end situation. Along the way, way, you will have to go on a journey. Well, or without a geological hammer, try blindly to find a copper vein that is located somewhere below us, within a radius of 35 blocks. I don't like this idea, of course, but before that, whatever it is, a trip or a search for, I need to solve the problem with food because, for only 2 pieces of venison do not inspire confidence. The crops won't grow at all soon, so we're going hunting. Oh, come on. As a result, it's already sunset, and my hunting trip turned out to be more collective. I picked a lot of crops, collected seeds. Well, we certainly won't die of hunger at first. Yes, I also got some turkey and venison, but there are more different wild crops in its advantage. Now it is necessary to move to the house and immediately plant crops so that they have time to grow by winter. Otherwise, if they don't grow up, it will be very bad. And now the night is coming. It is dangerous to run along these ledges and faults. Up, and that's it. It also started raining. It's going to be foggy now. I can't see a damn thing. Thunderstorm. I was unlucky with the weather. Wow my. And it's a long way to home. Very far away. That's what's down there. It's some kind of cave. Let's probably wait it out here. And then the weather really played out. We have a fire, we have food. The cave is really scary. What's in the distance? There's a draft here. And by the way, there's a pretty good cave here. There's water here too. Oh, but you have to be careful with landslides. The draft is really strong. You can see it by the smoke. But I think we're safe here until morning. It's so good that I was there. So, can this be put out? A jug of water. It's not put out. No, more water. My woodpile is burning. What should I do? Well, there wasn't much, but it was kick-ass as unexpected. And before dawn, we still have to wait and wait. It looks like I know the purpose of the next hike. And at the same time, this is a volcanic coast, so there must be something interesting on it. Well, for sure. The fire went out at dawn in 2 hours, as if it were necessary to move out. As if it were necessary to sit, wait, in hiding. All right, let's go. And here it is necessary to be careful. Pyrite. Basalt ore. By the way, I have a pickaxe to get it. Will it be useful to me or not? So, sulfur. Listen, interesting. Aniarono. Is that metal ore? So, pyrite. Where is he? Rich pyrite? The iron scroll. That's why I went out for a walk. Looks like a pretty successful hike. As if it would not collapse everything now. Oh, that's what I was talking about. And the question is about iron, about parrot. I'm melting it right into metal, and I don't even need to make some kind of alloy. But no, wait, the parrot melts into gray cast iron. And what can we make out of cast iron? Yeah, we need wrought iron. For wrought iron, we need high-quality iron, and to get the matrix, we need charcoal and iron. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Okay, let's get pyrite. So, well, that seems to be it. I got everything I could carry. And this is what my inventory looks like. Not bad. But we never found copper. Copper. That's it, nice. And there is quite a lot of it. There is a lot of it. But I'll be back here a little bit later. She was right next to the house. Literally, here is my base, here is the copper. Literally, look, here is my house. and here is a copper deposit. In theory, this is generally one huge copper vein that can be located inside my mountain. Why didn't I notice this before? But I'll come back for it a little later. I need to unload because I have a lot of things here. Cast iron, as I understand it, we need for the manufacture of forged iron tools, and everything is quite complicated there. This is an alloy, and we need a cheese blast furnace. In general, it will not be soon that we will develop to recycle and dispose of it all, or rather use it. So let's put it on the back burner for now. Well, now you can go for copper. By the way, I would mention the deposit, because it will be useful in the future when we explore them. We just collect the ingot like this and put a torch in its place. So, moose. Is that the one, by the way? Unfinished moose. It's time to take revenge. Well, friend, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you need to finish off with an axe. Where am I? No, I'm not just going to give up. Yes, don't run away. Everything is ready. How many attempts did I spend? A worthy reward, I'll tell you. Very worthy. 18 pieces of meat. The only question is how to save it. But I think we'll eat it in a month. Where's my loot? Somewhere out there, right. I think he was here. So the torch? Me. I need a torch. Let there be light. And there must be my loot somewhere. Yes. Here it is. By the way, it turns out I have a large fresh skin, and if I'm not mistaken, I can craft a primitive bed out of it. And although you can't sleep on this bed, you can put a spawn point on it. Okay, the main thing is that we found ourselves, and we already have as many as 300 miles of buckets of copper. And at the same time, it's not even half a vein. It's necessary. Where did the fire come from? Burning. Is it from the torches? That's where I didn't understand. I ran out of torches to mark the deposit. It's so huge here, but that's about it. Oh, all the torches are out. Kripovo. I'm finally home, fueling the fire, and it's just dawn. So, how much copper do I have? Almost 1,000 millibucks. This is enough for me for almost all tools, if not for everything. This is the best and most productive hike I went on this save. Well, perhaps we will process it right now. First of all, we craft a saw and a geological hammer. We'll make it, won't we? Pour 2 molds at once. And although we have only one form, this is a form for a hammer. First of all, you need to take clay. I have a lot of it. Use clay to create a saw shape. So, the main thing now is to do everything right. And here's where we clean up the corner. Yes, that's right. I also wanted to make a mold for an axe, but surprisingly there is none. There is only a form for the hammer. No, by the way, we have a copper axe. For a copper axe, the shape of the axe head is needed. And she is crafting with us. Well, that's it. That's right. That's it. It's all right now. It remains to take more logs. Take all the molds, put them here. Put the fuel as straw, lay it all on top with logs, and melt the copper in a vessel. And where is my vessel? Here, in fact, is a vessel with an already burnt hammer shape. I think we'll put all the copper into 800 millibucks at once. Perfect. Nice. So, now the vegetable garden. But I have accumulated a lot of seeds for this. I hope they all grow up in this climate. He needs low humidity. So, well, it means somewhere here. Yes, humidity 74 is just what you need for garlic. And 54 will do too. Pumpkin and barley remained. The pumpkin should be planted somewhere separately so that it does not ruin the nearby cages. And here we have a pit burning. I hope the seeds don't burn. So, how much moisture does a pumpkin need? 80%. That's great. Also at this level. And when the pit burns down, it will be necessary to move it and plant a pumpkin here. Although no, there is 90% humidity here. Pumpkins are planted, now barley. Damn, why do I need all such fastidious plants? Here is the best wheat. Humidity is 100%. You put it anywhere and enjoy it. And the rest of the crops, damn, require a certain amount of moisture. Well, it looks like the vegetable garden is ready. This zone will be for wheat, and all the rest will be for crops that are more fastidious to a dry climate. It remains to wait until it all grows up. By the way, there is ash. We'll fertilize something random. Meanwhile, it's already the 6th of June. The first week of my survival is coming soon. By the way, I just realized that I have traveled around the world so much, and have never even met some kind of peaceful animal like pigs or cows. But I still need to make a paddock and raise cattle. Along the way, I specifically have to suffer before I find any livestock. Well, while the pit is burning, I suggest we go dig clay. Why not? Clay is always in high esteem with us. Moreover, I somehow managed not to fulfill the main point and go further down the list. But these glasses won't open until I get 64 clays. So it's time to do it. Galina will wait. We have a pit burning down. 1 second. We quickly take a jug, forms, and we hope that we will have time to fill in all 3 forms at once. There is, but they managed to fill all 3 molds. Now cool. And we are already 1 foot in the copper age. It's official now. They are with 1 copper pickaxe. It's hot. Throw it away. Not completely cooled. You're cold, still hot. And the saw is hot too, right? Very hot. It turned out inconveniently. Well, it's just hot. That's it, I can take it. And the axe was cold too. The main copper tools are ready. And now we can, like civilized people, cut boards and make a long-awaited workbench out of boards. But no. First, normal boards, and then a workbench. On the 6th day. Oh yeah, full-fledged crafts. First of all, the chest. Oh, don't you get it? And there are ordinary boards needed, phew. I thought there was some kind of complicated crafting. In that case, we'll have a chest made of pine boards, because I don't have any chestnut ones anymore. We will make a double one right away, so that there is more space right away. Is this really a double chest? Why is he so small? Capets, there is not enough space in them. So, and the most interesting thing, copper deposit. Nothing was found. Nothing was found either. So, if I climb a mountain, the geological hammer seems to be hitting within a radius of 35 blocks. By the way, more copper. But if the hammer does not strike within a radius of 35 blocks, then the vein is even deeper. It looks like yes, it looks like it's really very deep. We will develop the deposit in the next series, but we need to find it first, because this is a rather long and tedious process. And it remains for us to complete the final task for the current series, namely to make a small shelter. We have a normal axe. I can't put my tools in the trunk. So, this is interesting. A little bit of wiki reading, and I realized that I needed a tool rack. It is done very simply. Another thing. Oh, listen, they are roomy. It's night outside, then we do. That's right. And we go to get wood. Damn, it's dawn. Oh, I forgot all about it. I have a big hide, which means we can make a bed. In theory, we can. I'm not sure. We take straw, make 2 blocks. We assemble these 2 blocks like this and poke the skin on top. Yeah, great. We can't sleep on it, but we have a spawn point. And now, under the first rays of the sun to work. I've been mining wood all day. In general, as I understand it, the advantages of a copper axe are not the speed of extraction, but its strength. Because I dug all day, and it practically didn't break. And this, as for me, is just a huge plus. Okay, and build another shelter tomorrow. Yes, rest does not hurt. So, now to the tree. There are 3 main types of trees growing in our latitudes. These are oak, chestnut, and maple. And I need to decide what kind of shelter to build. And I'm leaning towards either maple or chestnut. I don't want to see the vanilla tree at all, because we'll see enough of it and vanilla. And if it wasn't for the chestnut red inside, I would probably have stopped at it. But I'm more attracted to maple. It is very pleasant inside, well, and it can be cut if anything, and get just a super nice color. Unlike the not very clear red chestnut. So, well, and it's probably necessary to put it all somewhere. The fire went out. In 6 days, we'll have a whole maple forest growing here. Beauty. Meanwhile, the plants. Still 14%. All right, we're waiting. I plan to build a small house, a purely starting shelter. Because in any case, I probably won't stay here, because it's still a swamp, and I don't want to live in a swamp. I want to go to the beach, see how things are going there. But it's probably in the future, then I'll develop a little. So, according to the plan, I want to make a small canopy open here, and that's it. So that it protects from the rain, and a little from the wind. The main thing now is not to miss with the installation of logs, because it will be very tedious and long to demolish them. But, probably, we'll put it here. Another eye. Wow. In this mod, you can install semi-blocks vertically. So, I've sketched something here. It turned out to be such a strange, but good shelter. It will definitely protect you from the rain. Well, I doubt it from the wind, of course. But still, it's more comfortable to be here. We also need to leave a chimney for the fire. Well, that's another thing. The moon is shining straight down the chimney. It also turned out to be an improvised window. Yes, but we have one problem. Food. We have not solved the problem with food. Yes, we have some kind of minimalistic vegetable garden, but winter is close, as they say. Although we only have the 9th of June. Today, I need to transfer the cattle to the base, build small paddocks, and finally make a normal vegetable garden. Well, in the last episode, I said that I wanted to go to the beach, so first of all I'll run to the beach, see how it's going. If the location is beautiful there, then I think we will move there. Because the more thoroughly you get fixed in your current place, but the more difficult it will be to move. So why not? Right now, while it's night, we're going to the beach. And here are the first advantages. I found oats. We will have a replenishment in our garden. So, well, here's the beach I was talking about. No, well, listen, it looks decent. There's a lot of copper right here, and it's in such a low place, so we have every chance to break through this deposit with a hammer. It's getting dark, I'm far from home, and I found wheat. Wow, the sunset is so beautiful. There's also a new moon. The night will be dark. There is fire, there is food, there is a buzz. In general, I went up to the ledge here, and, as for me, I found a place for a future base. Because we have a forest here, mountains on the right, and here. Just look at this view. If anything, this place is right here. We have some kind of volcano ahead of us. Well, here is my base. I opened the map here and saw this. In general, I decided to look around here, climbed to the top. An incredible picture. Let me remind you that my base will be on that clearing, on the beach. This is where we can make a path, and here is an observation tower on which to meet the dawn. And by the way, I see some kind of deposit over there. Miner's lichen. I was forgotten. In general, I came, it's already sunset, even at night I would say, and settled down a little. That's how cozy it turned out. By the way, I've been thinking. I don't have any water nearby. She's just here, and then it's a canyon. And I need to grow a vegetable garden somewhere. And accordingly, I need a bucket. In general, here it is. The only bucket available to me. Wooden. Well, it's good that it's very easy to craft. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. It remains to transfer the water and make a blank for the garden somewhere here. But we'll do it in the morning. And it will also be necessary to craft a fishing rod and engage in fishing. Well, how would we live on the shore? What else to do, especially in winter? I can hear the skeleton. So, that's where I felt uneasy. He's around somewhere. It's not fucking funny. It looks like a cave here. So, well, all the more interesting. There's something under me. While it's night, a little terraforming, because I'm going to need a lot of flat territory here. In general, somehow it turned out that way. I made a small territory. And here I have flying trees. And you know, everything would be fine, but the water is quite deep. And it's also salty. What? I have a leaky bucket. Holy shit. No, don't touch it. Bro, no. And in general, there was no water in the vicinity at all. And we can't survive without fresh water. So it looks like we'll have to live near this lake. Apparently, I'm not destined to live here. There's some kind of cave nearby. I'm going straight to the zombies. And here are the zombies. Hi there. So, there was also a skeleton. Be careful. I don't understand if it's an underground cave or... There's water here. There's ordinary fresh water here. You can't imagine how happy I am right now. With the help of this water source, we can make a normal vegetable garden. It's just the best cave. It's so good that I went to check on her. So, well, since this is the case, we need to somehow make the entrance more civilly and start making a vegetable garden. In theory, when we have already made another pickaxe, so as not to waste the strength of this one, we can dig a tunnel from the cave into this rock, put a water source on the beach from here, and make a huge vegetable garden here. And at the same time, we will have a waterfall. And here is such an improvised vegetable garden I got. I will scrape more supports and immediately return here with the strengthening of this cave. The main thing is to prevent a collapse on the support itself, because a collapse can demolish it, and a chain reaction will go, which will simply add up the entire cave. That's what I was talking about. Well, it seems to have passed. I'm alive. Done? Here I have pumpkins, beets, and wheat sitting. Well, now you can do cattle, and maybe even look for fruit trees. And I read here that in mines it is better to build up the ceiling with indestructible blocks. And boards are now more suitable for this role than ever. Well, now my water is definitely safe. What was I talking about there? Oh yes, cows. But for this we need to chop a bunch of wood. Because I have a tree left at the old base, and I didn't have maple logs there. There was only a chestnut tree. I don't want to build from it, so we cut down the forest. Well, that's it somehow. Simple, but effective. Now for the cows. Or rather, for the cow. A cow. And what are you doing on top of the mountain? And this, by the way, is a bull. And we have a female sitting here. Great. You know, I wouldn't be me if I didn't go right now to dig a tunnel for water through the rock. But I don't have any spare copper, and the pickaxe may break, so we need to dig out the copper vein as soon as possible. The most important thing we will need is stairs, because in the comments I was told that you need to dig into 2 blocks for yourself, then there will be no collapse. And this is in fact the most productive search for copper veins. Nothing was found. Along the way, very deep. In theory, I'm doing everything right, and I won't fall asleep. Because if they put me to sleep, it would be very bad. The hammer doesn't hit anything. Well, let's dig in. So, there's some kind of cave here. She wasn't. Hello, everyone. Nobody. Like no one. Lucky that there are no monsters. So, well, this is some kind of cave. I sort of covered it. And here are the first visitors. Look how deep it is there. But that's not why we're here. An average sample of parrot chalcum was found. Iron. Oh yeah. Copper. A significant sample. Iron. Copper. So the copper is somewhere below. This cave beckons me from below. Nothing was found. So listen, I've already spent a pickaxe quite deeply, so well, whatever it is. Let's go look for copper upstairs. Moreover, a significant sample was found there. Somewhere around here, right? Yes, here is a significant sample. We dig copper from afar so as not to collapse. In general, copper is somewhere there. This is a gamble. That's it. We walk carefully along the edge of the fault. A huge sample. What should we try? Iron. I suggest we move along the canyon and see what's in the cave. I see copper. Oh yeah, and copper. Great, I found it. Well, that's another thing. Let's remember. No, no. For what? I put up the props. It will take me a very long time to get there. But as they say, I wanted to be able to find. I'm lying right on the field. Imba. Well then,
Ну что ж.
I need
Мне нужен
construction.
строительный.
Stairs.
Лестница. Тихо.
Hi there.
Так,
So
строительство.
let's meet. Well, how long is this going to last?
Так,
So let's
строительство.
meet. One time.
Раз,
Rewound.
отпустили. Нет, не
No,
отпустили.
they didn't.
Отлично.
Great.
Я бы
I
не
wouldn't
сказал,
say
что
that we
нормально
played
сейчас
normally
поиграли.
now.
Сталагмит
The
мне
stalagmite
помог.
helped
Я
me.
потратил больше
I've spent
недели
over a
на
week on
эти
these fucking
сраные
cave adventures.
приключения в пещере.
Well,
Ну
I
что
think
ж,
they'll
я
pay
думаю,
off,
они окупятся,
considering how much
учитывая,
ore there is.
сколько тут руды.
By the way,
Кстати,
the meat
мясо
has
испортилось,
deteriorated,
но у меня
but I
есть
have beets
свекла,
that will be stored for
которая
another
будет
month.
храниться еще
And
целый
most
месяц.
importantly,
И главное,
we pulled
мы
out the
вытащили
supports.
опоры. Опоры
Supports
нам
will be
пригодятся,
useful
но
to
я
us,
думаю, не
but I think
сейчас,
not now.
поэтому уберем.
Therefore,
Это будет
we will
наш
remove them.
эдакий
This will
опорный
be our
пункт
kind
при
of reference point in the study of this huge cave here.
Я не
I
знаю,
do
сколько
not know
времени
how
нужно
much
будет
time will
потратить
need
на
to be spent on
исследование вот
exploring
этого
this
всего
entire array,
массива, ибо
because the
массив
array
тут
here
реально
is really
просто
just huge.
огроменный, там
There's no
конца
end
края
in
не видно.
sight. It is
Да еще и
also a
такая
multi-level
крупная
cave.
пещера. Вы
Take a
посмотрите.
look.
А вот
And
про
that's
что
what
я
I
и говорил,
was talking
это
about.
скримеры.
Screamers.
Простите за мат,
Sorry
конечно,
about the mat, of course,
это
but it's
страшно.
scary.
С
With
двух
2
шотов.
shots.
Вау,
Van
шот.
shot. Competently hid, it
Грамотно
remains to
спрятался,
get
сразу
rid of
грамотно
him
от него свалить.
competently. I'm writing it down already. The time is 4 in the evening. I sat down to record the series at 10 in the morning. By the way, my first pickaxe still hasn't broken. There are very strong picks here. This is straight even imbova. At the same time, I have a second spare pick lying there. It's raining again outside, so I can have a drink. And at the same time, you don't even need to go outside. Look, there's going to be a landslide. I broke gravity, but I passed the mod. I broke the gravity of the cobblestone. Quiet, 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 quiet. What a thrill it is to find yourself at home after all. Guys, I went to the mine a little bit here, didn't I? Well, just a little bit.
Совсем чуть-чуть.
You've
Вот
probably
без
gone
меня,
completely berserk here without me.
разве
Yes,
видели?
domestication is zero.
Увлеченность ноль.
So,
Так, ну
well,
чё,
I don't really
только
want to
особо
go
не
to the
чуете,
mine,
но,
but
как
as they say,
говорится,
the mine
так
calls.
позовёт. И мы
And now
сейчас
we are
начнем
going to start
продавливать
hollowing out this
данную
rock
скалу,
to
чтобы
finally make a
наконец-то
vegetable
сделать
garden.
огород. И кто
And
бы
who
мог
would have thought?
подумать, у меня
I don't
нет
have a
дерева,
tree.
а дерево
And the
нужно
tree
для
is needed
подпоры.
for
Уже
props.
закат,
It's
это
already
значит, что я
sunset,
закончил
which
очередную
means that I've
дерево.
finished
А ещё
another
у меня
tree felling.
закончилась еда.
I also ran out of food. Well,
Что ж,
I
я
think we
думаю,
can
мы
dig a
можем
tunnel
прокопать
right down the
тоннель
center.
прямо по центру.
Anyway,
Всё равно в
in the
будущем
future,
всё
we will
будет огород, и
demolish
красиво
this
это
vegetable
устроим.
garden and arrange it beautifully. Yeah,
Походу,
the hike
надо
needs
брать
to go much deeper.
намного глубже. Иначе я
Otherwise,
сейчас выкопаю
I'm
себе
going to
на
dig
базу.
myself into the base now.
Опоры, чтобы это
Supports
всё
so
не
that it
валилось
doesn't
нахрен.
all fall to hell. Gravel, of course,
Гравий, конечно,
introduced a
внес
few
немного
problems,
проблем,
but it
но
seems
вроде
that
мы
we
с ними
coped with them.
справились.
There's just a little
Осталось
bit
совсем
left.
чуть-чуть.
Do the
Подпорки
props hold the
держат
gravel?
гравий.
Oh,
Если
if
бы
I
я
had
знал
known
об этом
about this
раньше,
earlier,
я бы
I wouldn't
не
have
страдал
suffered
вот
from
этой
this stuff
фигнёй
with
с
this
вот
sharp
этим резким
descent.
спуском. Я бы
I would
сразу
have
по
walked
гравию
straight on
пошёл.
the
Я
gravel.
уже слышу крик
I can
чаек.
already
Это
hear
значит,
the
что
cry of
осталось совсем
seagulls,
чуть-чуть.
which means that there is very little left.
Есть.
There is. That's
Вот
the
и
way
выход.
out. It remains to
Осталось
create a
создать
small
небольшое
direction,
направление,
dig a small
прокопать
trench
вот
here
здесь
so that
небольшой
the
желоб,
water
чтобы
does
вода
not
не
spread.
растекалась. Ну и
Well,
пустить
let the water
воду.
run.
И
And
теперь
now everything
всё
should
должно
work.
работать.
And yes,
И да,
everything
всё
works.
работает. У
We
нас
have a
есть
water source.
источник воды.
We will
Сразу
arrange
здесь
a
рядом
small
мы поставили
storage right
небольшое
next to it.
хранилище. Я
I
хотел
wanted to
сделать
make a
подъем
climb
наверх
up and
и
noticed some
заприметил
kind of
какую-то
cave.
пещеру. Так что
So
почему
why
бы
not
не
make a
сделать
climb
подъем
through this
через
cave?
эту пещеру?
Let's do it
Да,
right here.
прямо здесь.
Look,
Слушайте, это
it looks
интересно
interesting.
выглядит.
We
Надо
must
туда
definitely look
обязательно
there.
заглянуть.
In the
Ну а
meantime,
пока
let's
построим
build some kind of
какой-нибудь
lift.
подъем.
Just perfect for a bonfire. It's already night, but when has that stopped me? We are going to clean up the sand and lay it with chernozem. Chernozem, by the way, is very similar in color and texture to sand. Even at first glance, you may not notice that there is some other block here, and I specifically took the chernozem, so that it somehow more or less fits into this volcanic black beach. And by the way, if you dig it up, unfortunately, the texture is standard. Well, it was worth at least trying. Somehow it turned out to be asymmetrical, ugly. We need to dig another row here. Now that's another matter. It remains to run the water. Yes, it's not far, of course, there was enough water. We still need to remove this stone. But in any case, these distant blocks are suitable for planting various seeds that need low humidity. Therefore, we plant wheat here, and we plant some pumpkins here. And can the onion sit with us too? And well, the onion can no longer grow at high humidity, so we plant it in the third row. Beets are also planted in the third row, and garlic can even be the most extreme row. He won't care, so the whole vegetable garden will eventually be used. And, well, listen, it's literally a small depression like that. It's an interesting fact, but we can't apply it in any way. And by the way, my beetroot and pumpkin died here. And why the question? I'm a genius, by the way. I ran the water and made it to wet for beets, pumpkins, and so on. And all my crops died. Well, at least the seeds can be taken away. This pleases. I think we'll move the whole field down at once, so as not to run 100 times, and we'll go here purely to drink. Because you can only drink from a full-fledged source. You know, all this reminded me of an episode from the book The Mysterious Island. I've been reading it for a very long time, but I remember exactly how the main characters, they punched the granite rock from the inside. Here's a straight flashback of something. Here I am sitting here and looking at an unfulfilled quest with clay, which slows down all the remaining development. But this quest was supposed to be completed in the very first series. That's how I am a brilliant Let's Player. Okay, today in the series, we are finally going to develop and complete quests. And then, according to the game, I still haven't even got used to the Stone Age, and I already have a chest full of ore lying there. And the first thing we need is a fig of shovels, because I need to form a stack of clay. And not a stack in TerraFirm, but so in vanilla Minecraft, namely 64 units. The glasses are ready. I didn't even have to form a lot, I just took it out of the trunk and got it, so to speak. Well, now we need to do it all over again. An unburned vessel, a jug, and a bunch of molds. We will also need wood for pottery pits. So I refreshed my memory here, watched the passage, and realized that we still need charcoal for the forge. Therefore, the tree will not be superfluous in any case. I got so many blanks. By the way, there is one free place here. So, what are we missing? And now, we can make a bell shape. Now the main thing is that there is enough straw and wood. But it seems to be enough. My firewood doesn't want to burn. Oh, great. I wonder if they have some kind of ignition radius. Or you can make a row of pottery pits, and they will all light up instantly. It will be necessary to check this case somehow. I remember I wanted to make a more civil entrance to our abode of water. And somehow I didn't get around to it. In the meantime, we have 8 hours, just in time to do the gentrification. Well, it already looks better, you must agree. Yes, it's not a very voluminous entrance, and not very beautiful, but that's something. Moreover, I don't want to make a huge entrance, because somehow it will not be according to the canon for our level of development in the game. A little bit of lighting, and now it's definitely ready. To create an anvil, we need a full-fledged block of any breed. And I was wondering here in one of the episodes, but how to get this block. I was told in the comments that I just need to dig around the rock, and it will fall out by itself. Only here the ceiling can still fall on my head, while I'm doing it without props. What? Let's take a chance. No. It remains to break one block, and in theory it will fall out. Great. This will be our makeshift anvil. As I understand it, you just need to click on the block with a hammer, and it will turn into a primitive anvil. We'll check it out in 50 seconds. The ingots burned out, plus glasses. Plus a lot of glasses. I don't even have enough space in my inventory. There you go. That's another thing. Now 2 more points will be a plus. Both done. And we proceed to melting copper. Actually, she got all in. We throw the vessel and realize that I don't have a tree again. I realized that I was missing a warehouse. As if there are 4 chests, but they are already filled, so we will make an improvised warehouse in this place. It will be used for the anvil and in general for everyone. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's what I get.
Вот это я понимаю.
Houston, we have a problem. The water source is fine, but that's the main thing. And it also seems that the semi-blocks do not protect against a collapse. Well, I arranged it here, of course. But I just wanted to put a couple of extra chests. The most important thing that we will do before clearing the rubble is, of course, to change the ceiling. Yes, now it's not so beautiful, but it's 100% reliable. Well, now we need to do something about this depth. It's good that this part has survived. The flow has been restored, and, most importantly, the crops. Are you alive? All crops are alive. There was a slight interruption in the water supply, but now everything is fine. We will continue to implement our idea. Nothing will help in the cave anymore. And I don't really need it. It will be necessary to deal with this collapse here and properly arrange a room with a water source. Is the pit burned out? No, well, it seems to be even good. There will be raw ore and materials for the forge. And here, there will already be a yield of pure ore, so we have a jug ready. Has the contents solidified? It doesn't seem to harden for 10 hours. How is it so fast? Are you kidding? Can you warm it up on a fire? But it seems that there is not. Behind the tree again. In the meantime, a copper anvil, double copper ingot. How is it done? It is crafted on an anvil with the help of ordinary copper ingots and plus. In general, I dug around on the wiki and realized that the flux is limestone and other similar rocks. And what kind of rock do we live on? Of course, on limestone. But there will definitely be no problems with this. Yeah. I'm finally burying this cave. Well, in general, we forgot the limestone pebble. And a little more. That's it. Now definitely not a foot. We leveled this cave to the ground. 25 AHP. So we have 35 AHP and a few limestone pebbles. Cows. Domestication is 0. And in what way? Me. Did I ever manage to skip feeding or what? I kind of fed them, but the domestication has fallen. Domestication 10. Well, that's good. The realization has come to me now that I have eaten the last piece of meat and I have no more food. No, that's not what you were thinking. I'll have to go on a search for algae, because they're kind of edible. I live by the sea, so why not check it out? 1 second. Immediately we pick up, open, and throw there first a shovel, well, and a hammer. And moments of truth are a limestone pebble. Plus, there is. In fact, I was very lucky with limestone. I've heard about searching for limestone rocks for half a day. The Episheka has not recovered anywhere, unfortunately. And so I wanted to. And in theory, I right-click on the block and nothing happens. It looks like we need a stronger block. I don't have any. I think basalt will do. Well, just in case you can check. And yes, basalt will do. And now the most important problem is food. And since I don't have it, I'm going to extract algae right now, without waiting for a trip to the base. I hope that they can really be eaten. We cut it. You can't eat an accident. I see some more. I'm just really hungry. I hope you can eat these. And also not. We have big problems. There is no food. In the middle of the night, in the rain, trying to find food in the sea. And that's where my base is far away. I don't quite understand what kind of seaweed this is. And where to get it from. Yes. Well, at least. I have a full meal. The issue with algae remains open, as well as with crabs. Does something fall out of them? Yes, meat falls out of them. It looks like in the near future, we will eat only carabac. I have a zinc deposit right under the base. And it turns out not only zinc, but also bismuth. The first anvil is now the most interesting. We need 7 double copper ingots, and for this we need to cast 14 ordinary ones. And now the Zadrotstvo will begin. For the forge, we need a coal furnace, and to make a coal furnace, we need a lot of wood to process it into charcoal. Therefore, we have about 5 hours to extract the tree. And what if we plant trees next to each other and then try to cut them down? If I cut down everything in one go, it will be too imbovo. For coal, we make the construction as simple as possible. Well, you can have more, but I don't have that much wood. We create inside the woodpile. In these woodpiles, we throw off the maximum amount of wood. The more wood there is in the woodpiles, the more coal we will get at the exit. But in general, I threw in all the wood that I had, while I did not fill all the woodpiles. And we cover all this with earth from above, leaving one block in advance, which we have to set on fire. When it lights up, in theory, we close the remaining block, and it turns out that this is a coal pit. And when it burns out, we can shovel all the finished coal. And by the way, for a coal forge, in theory, we will still need bellows to heat it all up better. And for furs, we will need leather, which we will get by keeping the skin in tannin. I think we'll put it right here. This is a kind of working area for us. Then we will arrange everything beautifully, but for now it will be like this. It remains to train 1,000 miles of buckets of water and throw a tree. The pit burned out. And yes, there is coal here. Now we dig a hole 3 by 3 and 1 block from the bottom. We lay all this with a cobblestone. That's it. Now we have a coal forge. And finally, we will be able to do blacksmithing. Lime water. Great. And already in lime water, we put the first skin. And now we seal it. It remains to wait 8 hours, and we will have the first skin ready. Remember I said about the fishing rod. It is done quite easily. I remember I killed a spider, so there will be threads, and a bronze hook is made with a bronze plate. When we enter the Bronze Age, and until that moment, I remind you, there is very little left. We will craft ourselves a fishing rod first of all. I propose to prepare a woolen skin. To do this, we combine it with a knife and cut off the wool. By the way, we can get threads from wool with the help of a spindle, so there will be no problems creating a fishing rod. The soaked skin is ready. We load the second one, and we start cooking this one. Only how? I know that it needs to be spread out and processed with a knife. It seems to be done on a wooden surface. Let's make an improvised table somewhere closer to home, for example, here, and not a wood pile. Let's put the skin. Yes, that's right. And let's start processing. Done. At the same time, we completed the quest. And already this skin, we have to soak in a barrel of water. Great. Well, it's even nice to look at our workplace. The most important thing is not to forget to craft the tongs. So far, only wooden ones are available to us, but then copper ones and so on will open. With the help of tongs, we will be able to shift ingots from the forge to the anvil, and in general, interact with heated metals and other materials. If anything, to make the forceps work, we take them in our right hand. And now we are not affected by negative effects. And in 10 seconds, our first skin will be ready. Soft-boiled pebbles. What should I do with it? And we still need tannin. Of course, this was unexpected. Now there's definitely enough tannin. And now the most interesting thing. Crabs. Damn, and this. It's beautiful. It's beluga. In theory, a lot of meat will fall out with it. But also in theory, she may not leave me a single chance. There are a lot of them there. Is it a shark at all in my opinion? No. In general, according to the subtitles, it's a dolphin. They don't have a lot of AEHP. Let's try it. Well, it was easier than I thought. And where is the second one? I do not know how I could have thought that it was a beluga. She looks different. We have lard. Can't he be eaten? Fat can be made from lard. Well, actually everything. This is of course very interesting information, but I again have no food. And there are no crayfish in the area. How difficult it is. Meanwhile, the tonnin barrel is ready. A whole night of work, and the pit wasn't even half full. Well, anyway, there will be a lot of coal here. In the meantime, the first skin, and as many as 2 pieces. For skins. We are making our first bellows. If I'm not mistaken. Yes. Craft is faithful. Well, the first forge. By the way, I put it wrong. Now everything is fine. As soon as the coal pit burns down, we light the forge, warm it up, and we craft an anvil. In the meantime, I suggest we go hunting, because you don't get enough of crabs, but they're not there anymore. And on the hunt, you can at least get skins for additional furs. And in general, the skin is a useful thing, but also meat, where without it. Plus, we can find sheep that we actually need for future crafting. By the way, I can brag. The cow has already been tamed by 30%. The truth is, the cow has aged too. Seedlings, by the way, are still growing. There are 6 days left, and we will finally find out what will come out of this. But now we didn't go to the left side, so I suggest we go there. You'll see, I'll find something interesting. It's already evening, by the
Уже,
way.
кстати, вечер.
I
Я
just
как
found a
специально
small
нашел
cave on purpose,
небольшую пещеру,
which turns out to
которая,
go out
оказывается,
into large rift.
выходит в большой
In
разлом.
general,
Мы вообще
we'll spend the
переночуем
night
тут
here.
в глубину
We won't
соваться
go
не
into the
будем,
depths,
потому что там
because there are
монстры. И я
monsters
только
there.
сейчас осознал,
And
что у
I
меня
just
нету
realized that I
топлива для
don't have
костра.
fuel for
Ну,
a
хорошо, что
fire.
светит луна,
Well,
иначе
it's
в
good that the
темноте
moon is
вообще
shining,
ничего не увидеть.
otherwise I wouldn't have seen anything at all in the dark here. Now
Вот
that's
теперь
another matter.
другое дело.
In general, I decided
Теперь
not to
решил
wait for
дождаться
dawn
рассвета
and go
и
further.
пойти дальше.
Sheep,
Овцы.
but
Ну,
one
одна
sheep.
овца.
This
Это,
is my
по-моему,
second
вторая
sheep.
овца. Мне
I
срочно
urgently
нужен
need a
ножик.
knife. Come here.
Иди сюда.
And the second
И
one
вторая
was there
где-то там
somewhere
была,
on the other
на той
side.
стороне.
And
А вот
here's
и
the
вторая.
second
И
one.
эта, похоже,
And it
была.
looks like a
Осталось
ram.
их
It
довести до
remains to
дома.
bring them
Как раз
home.
рассвет будет
It's just
полегче.
dawn, it'll be easier. I found
Я
gold.
золото нашел. А
But
вот это,
this is of
конечно,
course
очень
very
круто и
cool
неожиданно.
and unexpected. There's a burnt out
Где-то
pit
тут
somewhere.
прогоревшая
Yes,
яма.
here it is.
Да, вот она.
And
И
cows.
коровы.
How are you
Ну,
doing
как
here
тут
without
без
me?
меня? Ни
There's
света,
no light,
ничего
there's
уже
nothing
нету.
anymore.
Всё потухло под
Everything went
дождем.
out in the
А я
rain.
вот по пути ещё
And I found
корову
another
нашел.
mare
И
and
одну
one lamb
овечку.
along the way. Finally, a
Наконец-то,
normal list of
нормальный
animals
список
for
животных для
survival.
выживания.
By the
Кстати,
way,
за время
during the
похода
hike,
нашел
I
некоторые
found
новые
some new
культуры,
crops,
по типу
such as
морковки и
carrots and
картошки.
potatoes.
Это всё
All of this
обязательно
must be
надо
planted,
посадить. Но
but first
первым
of all,
делом
put my
привести в
shelter in
порядок
order,
моё
otherwise
пристанище.
something has
А
gone
то
out
что-то
here.
тут всё
It has
потухло,
become
как-то
somehow
уютненько
uncomfortable.
стало.
But
Но
now it's
теперь
different.
другое дело.
And
И,
by the
кстати, у
way,
меня же
I've
пережарился
overcooked the
уголь,
coal,
поэтому
so we
мы
can
можем
start
приступить
forging.
к ковке.
There's a
Где-то
coal
тут
pit
угольная
somewhere.
яма. Да, вот она.
Yes, here it is. 17 coal again.
Опять 17 угля.
Not enough.
Маловато.
Now, if I
Теперь,
understand
если я
correctly,
правильно понимаю,
I have to
я
take the
должен
tongs in my
взять
right
чипсы в правую
hand,
руку,
throw the
закинуть
coal
уголь
into
в
the
кузню,
forge,
разогреть
and
их
heat
до
them up to the
статуса
status
желтеет,
of turning yellow.
плавление
The main
перегреть
thing
и
is
начать
not to
месчетку
overheat,
с помощью щипцов
otherwise they will
по-быстрому
disappear.
переместить в наковальню
With the
и
help of
сварить.
tongs, quickly move to the anvil and cook. But you thought
Но,
that was
говорю,
it.
это всё.
Of course
Конечно
not.
же нет.
We need
Нам
bronze.
нужна бронза.
And
А
bronze is an
бронза —
alloy
это
of
сплав
copper
меди
and
и
tin.
олова.
And
Если бы
everything would
ничего,
be
то
fine,
олова-то у
but
нас
we don't
нету,
have
и
tin.
надо его хоть и
And I
немного,
need a
но в
little of
любом
it.
случае
But in
мне
any
придётся
case, I will
снова
have to go
опуститься
down
в
into the
пещеры.
caves again. Ah,
А,
that
то есть
is
вот
like
так.
this. This is a dead end.
Это тупик.
Amazing
Удивительная
cave
система
system.
пещер.
Still
Причём
nothing
ничего не
found.
найдено.
What
Ну
kind of
что за
jokes?
приколы?
Already
Уже предельно
extremely
глубоко.
deep. Tin.
Олово.
A huge
Огромное
sample, by the
олово,
way.
кстати.
Finally,
Наконец-то.
tin from
Олово
below.
снизу. Похоже, мы
Looks like
немного
we've been
прошли.
through a bit.
Олово было
Was the
примерно
tin
вот на
at
этом
about this
уровне.
level?
Да, оно где-то по
Yes,
стенке.
it's somewhere in that wall. But the tin is somewhere in that direction,
Но олово где-то
either
в
in
той
that
стороне,
or
либо
in
в
that.
той, либо в той.
Nothing
Тут
hits
стенку
that
ничего
wall.
не бьёт. В общем,
In
я
general,
выкопал 2
I
тоннеля,
dug
и
two
в обоих
tunnels,
находится
and there is a
пробы
tin
олова.
sample
Ну,
in
пойдём в
both
две
of them.
стороны сразу.
But let's go in two directions at once. Finally, tin. I've been looking for you for so long. It's just that there are already a million tunnels. Over there to another level. And this is the very beginning. Over there to the left, down to the right. There's more. Oh, but I found it. I knew I had to take an axe. And now he came in handy. A source of cave water. A rarity. That's another thing. Digging ore is much more pleasant. Saturated and tin. That's what you need. I ran out of props. There is still a lot of ore, but it is already dangerous to dig. So I'll be back there later. In the meantime, let's start mining an already well-known deposit. Now I'm running home to catch tin, combine it with copper, and get bronze. Wow, well, a thunderstorm broke out on the street. We could use a house already. And then we are preparing to move into the Bronze Age. And the roof over your head is natural. In the next series, we will just do the construction of a house. And believe me, I have a lot of ideas. Although not a very cool builder, I hope it will turn out fine. And I have a question. What's wrong with my boards? There was definitely a wall here before, and I have some suspicion that there was a fire while I was away, and I was very lucky that he did not reach the chests. Therefore, I will immediately remove all the wood around the forge, and it will be necessary to cover it all with stones. I am here again, and I have already prepared the necessary proportions for the bronze alloy. It remains only to make a new vessel, then I have no free ones left. At the same time, in the same pit, I will burn the head of the spindle to craft the threads, and we will already make a fishing rod out of the threads. Well, while all this is frying, I need to get some so-called source blocks. In general, these are just blocks of stone that need to be dug from all sides so that they fall out. These blocks will be useful for creating millstones, on which it will be possible to grind various elements. Actually, plus the glasses. The pit burned out. 996 millibucks of bronze. I will immediately make the maximum possible number of ingots. And since everything worked out for me, we need to establish production and make bronze on a more global scale. I forgot to turn on the recording for a few minutes. In fact, nothing important happened, except the creation of millstones and the creation of wool threads using a spindle. And well, yes, I also put a few vessels to fry in reserve to create bronze. As soon as they are overcooked, we will upgrade the anvil. But after that, our longest journey will begin. And all for the sake of one single resource, kaolinite clay, which is necessary to create both refractory bricks and a crucible. Well, in general, it is needed for future development. And the crucible is necessary for convenient creation of alloys, because the pots, though cheap, are quite uncomfortable. While they warm up, and I threw metals into the crucible, immediately saw the proportion, and overcooked it. And, well, yes, I'm finally breaking my cave. It is almost impossible to walk here, and this cave turns from a cave into some kind of canyon under the open sky. I think over time, it will collapse completely, and I'm not restoring it on purpose, because, well, once these collapses will end. In general, I prepared 3 vessels with proportions for bronze. Oh, by the way, yeah, it didn't work out. All the seedlings did not grow, they just lost the timer. But, look, most of the trees have joined into one after all. And now I'm going to try to get it all at once. The moment of truth. Well, now we plant trees only in this way. Well, that's another thing. Well, 17 bars of bronze. And at the same time, there are still a lot of miles of buckets in the vessel. Worthy, I think. The first bronze instruments. Meanwhile, the ingots have already cooled down, which means that we are creating our first bronze anvil. Kaolinite clay. Today we have 2 main tasks. Build a house on the site of the destroyed cave and find Kalini. Kalini is the #1 task, and then we'll have to look for graphite. But graphite will spawn in Gabbro, and Gabbro, as you remember, we found in a tin mine. I'm pouring a bronze sword and a bronze shovel right now. All this is for traveling to feel more confident. And what is the main problem? First of all, we need a climate with an average temperature of 18 degrees. Therefore, we will have to go far, far to the south. And the second problem is that we need an average annual precipitation of 300 millimeters. Well, it seems that at least I get into precipitation. Combine the blade with a stick and get a bronze sword. Well, now it's not scary to run through the woods at night. Now let's try to make a test boat. Because all kinds of wood are not suitable for it. I know that pine is exactly right, but pine grows only on the old base. And here there are chestnuts maple. Maple doesn't fit, so let's try chestnut. To do this, you need to put 3 logs horizontally. Cut them with an axe. Cut off the upper parts with a saw. And yes, these logs are not suitable either. It looks like we'll have to go to the old base and hope that the pine tree has grown there. I remember laying siege to pine saplings, but were they unloading? The base is quite far away. I'll make an oar in advance. It is done very simply. So, we need to go south. This is a plus X coordinate, which means that we are going to the next beach. We build a boat there, pick up a pine tree 4 boats along the way, and set off on our way. And here's the pine tree. I didn't even have time to reach the base, and I found a pine tree. 7 pine logs. Great. In general, I returned the old shaders, because for some reason, the game started lagging a lot with compliments. You will see what an ideal cave is for the start of survival. There are several rooms in it at once to equip them for a conditionally storage room and a working room, as well as a sleeping area. And immediately a source of water. Why didn't I find this place right away? I'm already ashore. Hey, we need to make a canoe right away, because it's not done as fast as you might think. In theory, we put 3 logs, remove the bark from them, then remove the upper part. Yes, I'm doing the right thing. Only I need to take torches. And now we cut down the shape of the canoe. It remains to set it on fire. Great, everything's fine. We are waiting for the inner part of the canoe to burn out and we can swim. While the boat is frying, I want to test one theory. I was told that seaweed from Earth can be fried over a fire, and in this case, they will become edible. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Done? And how to launch it into the water? Yeah. We take an oar in our hand. Well then, they swam. So they sailed. Then only the legs. But you can certainly try an underground cave. But I do not know if there's a dead end here or not. Yes, there's a dead end. By the way, we can leave the canoe here, so as not to worry that it will be carried away somewhere. We will mark it with a torch. If anything, in a TerraFirm, the further east you go, the more humid the climate you come across. Well, the more westerly, respectively, the drier. It turns out that when there is a bayonet, you immediately replenish the hydration of the body. It's very cool and convenient. It turns out the most profitable food at the moment. I hear footsteps. Someone is running with me. No, not now. There, some inhabitant of the local flora and fauna chased me. It is urgent to break away from the cliff and into the river. A dot, it was dangerous. And I found it. Yours. Thousands of blocks from their resources. Acquaintances. I'm talking about familiar places. Not bad. A thunderstorm broke out while I was waiting out the night here. And I'm like a lightning rod standing right on top. Not bad, not bad. Let's get out of here fast. There you go. It's already safer here. Holy shit. That's what I understand, a coal deposit. I was even taken aback for a second at first by so much coal and firmness texture. It really looked very unexpected. And then there's a very cozy cave, I would say. Take a look. Well, yes. Let's go, let's go. Annual precipitation is 300 millimeters. I'm in the right climate. It remains to find a red flower. And this, it's not him. We need to find a red flower standing alone, and this will be an indicator of the kaolinite clay. The mainland ends, and I'm only in that direction. In that side, the humidity is missing. I'm already walking on the edge. 302 millimeters. I know that I definitely need salt for various salting and other things, so I can't pass it by. You know, what if I don't find kaolinite clay? Wolves. I'm going to stay here for the winter. And what? Normal sharpness. If the house is cold and the house is uninhabitable. Overwinter in the south. In general, the strategy is as follows. We go along the coast. As soon as the temperature drops to 17 degrees, we try to build a canoe from local wood and swim across the ocean. While I was swimming, I completed some kind of quest. Look at what coordinates I'm at. 10,000. and I have not found any necessary biome. Old mountains. Is it suitable or not? Yes, old mountains. In theory, kaolinite should spawn here. Now the main thing is to survive this night, and we're going to explore this area. Phew, that's it. I'm definitely safe here. I don't see my boat, but I do see some strange fish. What is it? Who is this? A manatee, but it shouldn't attack. But it looks intimidating from the outside. And where is my boat? But it couldn't have carried her that far in the stagnant water. By the way, look again. It caught fire on its own. Perhaps this is some kind of randomness, and it lights up as if from friction due to the fact that I am sawing a log. Or maybe it's just a tank. In general, let it be prepared here, while I go to look for kaolinite on that mountain. And by the way, look. Very similar to kaolinite. I hope it's him. Although, to make it so simple, I wouldn't believe it. So, moments. Moments. Kaolinite clay. Oh, how glad I am now. Also in such quantities. But the savings, by the way, it came straight to me. Well, that's it. It really washed up on the shore. Here I am really confused by this crocodile very much. He can sneak up on you, and with one poke to take me out. Okay, let's dig. By the way, it is not quickly extracted. Or maybe her pickaxe. No. What? What kind of damage was that? What was that? Okay, my canoe is hanging out there. What is it? Am I hot or what? It looks like yes, I'm hot. See the red stripe around the water. And the damage is not bad. I seem to have overheated in the sun. And what is the temperature now? 34 degrees. Well, yes, I overheated. It is necessary to fix it in water. But I don't seem to heat up very quickly. I can try to go into the cave and see if I can hide from the scorching sun in the shadow of the cave. And yes, there's a shadow here, and I'd rather sit here. It's already evening. The temperature has dropped to 29. And you can try to go outside. Yes, I'm already in the shadows. We continue. Well, I've had enough. 16 stacks of clay, and now home. In general, it's already evening. 22:40, and I came to my old base. Sort of. Yes, here it is. And I won't risk going through the forest to the main base, because bears live here. And my bed is in the jungle across the ocean. This is how my inventory turned out with the trip. A pile of kaolinite clay, almost 2 stacks of salt, and various seedlings of fruit trees, and watermelon seeds, and red bell pepper. But we will plant this next year. We should at least make a fire. It's good that when I moved out of here, I left a minimal set of resources. A wood pile, a flint, and now I can use it all. It's been so long since I've been here, and how nice it is to be at home after such a long journey. And all this is radicalenite clay. So, it's already dawn. And look how many crops I have grown here. 6 pumpkins, barley, wheat. Now I quickly go to the main base, unload, collect the main crops, and come back here. Also collect everything that has grown. No, but what about wasting time sowing? Oh, the copper is not assembled. Flashbacks. And there are still spears and... Yes, who is it? By the way, it's 5 degrees outside, and even the leaves have already started to turn yellow. I collect everything that can be useful and has not been lost yet. By the way, as far as I know, food is stored much longer in a cool environment. Therefore, you can try to dig a basement and store food in this basement. Well, yes, I was also advised to do this in the comments, but I looked at the guides. It seems that some kind of refrigerator is needed there, into which I load ice, and only then it starts working. But no. One trip to the south was enough for me, and I didn't have enough to go to the north at the moment. And besides, winter is coming for me, and, most likely, freshwater bodies will freeze in winter. Here we dig up ice for the refrigerator. And what do we have here? How are you here without me? Well, yes, domestication is 0. At least the cows didn't lose weight. And, by the way, she will be giving birth in a month. I haven't been here for a long time. Native ocean.
Родной океан.
We'll sort it out later. Now there are more important things to do. And food. Generally empty. But no, there is cabbage. Spoiled. And where was the descent down? I've already forgotten everything. Okay, there's water here. The plant is ripe. Yes, the whole garden is ripe. So I have a question. And how do I propagate plants? That is, I get one seed from one block. Is it possible to reproduce them somehow? Because if not, it's like it's implausible. Or I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I need a hoe. And no, using a hoe is the same. The crops have been harvested. Now we need to understand what to do with them and how to save them for the whole winter. So, in order to preserve all the vegetables that I have collected, I need to put them in vessels in a cool place and seal them. In this case, their shelf life will double, and I will buy time before I have vinegar and brine in which I will pickle them, seal them again, and it will all be stored for the whole winter. So now we are quickly making a couple of shovels, even stone ones, so as not to waste time, and go to extract the nearest clay. Or I'm so bad that I don't even have clay. And by the way, the night, the rain, well, okay, everything is as usual, nothing new. I think 4 stacks will be enough for the first time. Now we are making several large vessels out of this clay. I have problems in the form of lack of coal. It looks like it will have to be the old-fashioned way through firing. And you have to go further and further from home for straw. Wow, it's kind of fast. So, well, now the question is to provide a cold place. We don't have a basement yet, but remember, a small cave right below us. Here she is in this place. As for me, a perfectly cold place. 13 degrees. I'm thinking to trim it a little bit here, and it turns out to be such a miniature refrigerator. But the entrance would be more careful here, because the stairs are quite dangerous. A civil descent would not hurt us. But for a civil descent, we need wooden steps made of maple. And we don't have a maple tree, and I spent it all on a pottery pit. But fortunately, we have a lot of wood, and there is a bronze axe. Guys, I realized here in the process of editing that the series is already turning out for about 15 minutes. And I also wanted to build a house. And that's what I thought. Traveling and building a house. These are 2 huge global topics. And to combine them into one video, as for me, it's not very good, because I simply can't reveal them. And plus, for the construction of a house, as for me, you need to allocate a lot of timing. Therefore, I will build a house in the next series. And I hope you'll forgive me for the shorter current series. But it really seems to me that it's better to do exactly that, and divide this series into 2 parts. At least just for a logical narrative. I think 20 logs will be enough for me, and I've chopped up some more in reserve here. F my. I threw away the saw. Oh well. Okay. There is no coal. Along the way, we make another pit to warm up the vessel. That's it, let it burn. So, the pots are ready, which means it's time to assemble a mini refrigerator. 5 pots, as we wanted. Of course, there is not much space, but we don't need much. And now, we throw off everything that is edible, and everything that has an expiration date. By the way, what if I cut the pumpkin? Will it change the expiration date or not? It would be better not to cut it. The term has been shortened several times. Well, okay, we'll eat it now. I don't seem to have forgotten anything. Filled 1.5 vessels. And now we seal it. And yes, the shelf life doubles. Now garlic is stored right up to the 1st of April. 6 months. There are still 3 empty vessels left, but this is in reserve. Plus, we will salt the meat. And we still have to hunt, because we won't last the whole winter on vegetables alone. We simply won't have enough of them. Oh, and I have 2 buckets of milk. Dinner is finally learning how to make cheese. I've been asked about this since the 1st episode. And by the way, the cow needs to be milked. And I found 18 maple slabs. This means that we can start building stairs to our refrigerator. Well, that's all. I didn't have enough for more. This will be the central descent, as if a fork, and a further descent down to the garden. And here, there will be an ascent to the base. In the future, we will craft hatches, make railings, and necessarily props. But the props are in the future, because now, first of all, it's night and it's just inconvenient to put them up. The copper just burned out. Well, no. I forgot. It's just that when I died on one of my hikes, I came back here, took a ready-made saw billet, filled it in, and successfully forgot about it, thinking that now it lies in the trunk. Well, yes, I'm a ruin, don't be surprised. Yeah, that's it. And I think this amount is enough to start with. So, I got something like this. I will definitely put props and railings here. Well, here it is a refrigerator. Today, we are definitely building a house, as well as preserving food for the winter. And first of all, of course, the products. We will need to make alcohol in barrels. And then make vinegar from alcohol, in which we will already marinate the products. Now, by the way, is the right time for this lesson, because it's autumn. For vinegar, we will need fruits or berries. And since I don't have any fruit, it's time to pick berries in the fall. But berries are stored very little, so first of all, of course, we craft a bunch of barrels and create alcohol. In theory, we will create whiskey, because wheat flour is needed for it, and I have wheat most of all at the moment. I was also prompted by a life hack that barrels can be filled directly from a water source. It's true. And what about Fav? Quiet. I'm moving. Was it an overload? Well, we found out that it's better not to carry a bunch of barrels on your hump. Okay, it's like you can hang it, right? Yes, it can be hung up, then the overload will not apply to me. Well, how will it not be? We will be able to drag only 2 barrels according to the idea. But this will not work anymore. Well, it's not that important. We'll put them right under the tree. Why not? Well, that's it. Now quickly into our new refrigerator. We get wheat out of here. At first, I wanted to make oats, but oats are useful for animal feed, and wheat is just right for alcohol. Now we cut the whole thing into pieces and grind it on millstones. By the way, this process is not fast. So I have ground and only 10 flour, which, by the way, you can eat. And now, in theory, for 500 millibucks of water, I need 1 wheat flour. And we have 10,000 in a barrel. And it turns out that we do not have enough and need exactly half a barrel. And now, in theory, everything should work out. Yes, whiskey fermentation. 2 days. Long, of course. But we have something to do. In theory, you can also use potatoes to create vodka. But how would it be? And she's already gone. We'll put everything back together and seal it. It will be stored, by the way, until, June 5th. Not bad, by the way. Very, very good. Even more than garlic. It's even more profitable than storing a whole crop. Well, while the whiskey is being infused, I saw berries nearby. Yes, I ate some of them off-screen because I didn't know they were necessary for whiskey. But it's good that I left a little and they were somewhere in this direction. And here they are. And just a seedling. Just picking from the bush. And we have as many as 4 berries, which are stored for 4 days to create vinegar. By the way, I don't know if this will be enough for us or not. We need 1 item for 250 millibucks. Yes, that's definitely enough for us. And the question, can I pick berries? I can gather bushes. Be sure to collect it and transfer it to our base. Where would I put them? I don't have a place for anything yet. And let's go right here. There will be such a beautifully furnished tree. Put the berries in the refrigerator. And I also want to eat like a civilized person. And to do this, I create a pot that I will put on the fire and cook soups. Well, since I threw out the hammer on the trip, and how to create a hammer. I'm also creating a hammer mold and a spare form for the axe, because we're still going to build a house. And we'll need a tree, as if this forest would be enough for us. And, accordingly, axes. Well, let's get down to the main plan. Building a house. And for this you need to stock up on wood. And not just a simple tree, but maple logs. And I'm kind of prepared here. Planted a bunch of maple. I hope that's enough. Well, if not, I seem to live in suitable latitudes, and will have to run through the woods and look for a maple tree. And I will also need a mower, because if you collect leaves from a tree before you start chopping it, then the cutting of the tree will happen many times faster. So the test. A tree without foliage. And yes, it cuts very quickly. And let's make coal. Another thing. Well, let's try something. Just take a break from the tree pipe. Let's take another onion on top. And a little carrot. In theory, I just throw in 1 ingredient at a time. And, of course, water. How without it? And nothing happens. And here, getting ready. You need 4 ingredients and a pot of soup, bubbled up. By the way, the berries are ripe. No wonder I dragged the bushes. We'll have even more vinegar. Sunset again, tree cutting again. Because we burned all our work last night in a coal pit. Well, yes, but there will be coal. By the way, the leaves have already turned completely yellow. Even already blushed, I would say. And here we have the first problems. I cut down all my hand-planted maple. And now we need to look for maple trees, because others grow in our latitudes as well. Yes, there is a nice clearing here, but there is a solid chestnut tree ahead. And there's a maple tree over there. All right. I hope we will be lucky, and there will be a lot of maple. The first snow. But it's only the 17th of September. Early autumn. I don't even have a house yet. Well, the first snow didn't seem to get to me, but it's right on the border. And I also cut down all the maple trees in the area. Well, that's how much it extracted overnight. And, well, yes, you can also cut down these too. Well, at least during the day the temperature rises to -1, and I hope to have time to build a house before my territory is covered with snow. Well, in general, it's September and it just snowed. The first snow, by the way, which we see live on this survival. Well, that's what I understand. More than a stack of coal. In the meantime, I have a scythe. Chopping wood will now go much faster. I propose to test and here. Well, yes. This. It's just dramatically faster. And we cut down the base. Yes, this is clearly more convenient. By the way, whiskey is ready. This means that we can make vinegar. Berries, your turn has come, and I can't drink them. And will it be possible to drink in a barrel or not? And no, it doesn't come out to drink in a barrel either. Wait, what if I leave just one berry? I even take into account one berry, vinegar turns out. I thought I needed one fruit for 250 millibucks, but it doesn't seem like it. Well, either I was wrong. But I hope not. Oh, the bush has wilted already. So now I want to make a solution from these 3 barrels, or rather from these 3 barrels, to create bricks. And that's why I need to find a flux. Where did I have the flux? We just decompress the barrels and put one flux here. And we get nothing. Lime water is created from water and flux. Yeah, 400-500 millibucks. That is, everything seems to be bad here and more flux is needed. I don't have a hammer, do I? But there is coal for the forge, and we are going to make a hammer in just 5 minutes. Moreover, there is a burnt form. Well, while the bronze is warming up, I'll start making a foundation for the house. And the foundation will be right here. In theory, it will be such a beautiful wide house with panoramic windows on the sea and a balcony. But in order to implement this, you need to spend a hell of a lot of time. But these beams, in theory, will support the balcony. The balcony will be about up to here. This is where the living room will begin. And here are some technical rooms, a basement, and various mechanisms. And of course this zone. It will be accessed from the inside. This is our forge. And there will also be other stoves, all that. Well, in general, it will be our kind of backyard, which will pass into this territory. I heard the barrel was ready there. In theory, this is our vinegar. Congratulations, we've wasted 5 liters of whiskey. After all, the more berries, the more vinegar it turns out. We, in theory, do not need salt at all. I thought somehow I would have to run around the world looking for salt. But no, here it is. Now we collect water from the ocean and get a barrel of salt water. That's what I understand. I forgot that I still have to go up. And you know, it didn't work out for me. I used up all the vinegar, and then nothing happened. And I realized what was wrong. I needed a liter of vinegar. In general, this is the most irrational waste of alcohol came out. The bronze has already melted. We fill the hammer and go to check my theory with flux. After all, only ore and graphite can be extracted in this way. There is no way to save time with limestone. Well, it's okay. But we can just put a limestone pebble, a hammer, and form a whole stack of plus points. It remains to go for sand. In general, I formed some sand. To fully use up 10,000 millibucks of water, you need 100 sand, but I took a little more in reserve. In theory, everything is simple, we throw sand here. It turns out a mortar. But I can't take the sand, so we can safely pump out a little lime water, since it's a little more than half, and scatter it over the barrels, and then throw the sand. We began to fall asleep with snow. Well, never mind, we'll break through. By the way, there seems to be absolutely no heating coming from the torches. And I'm hungry again. Well, it would be necessary to warm up by the fire. Another thing. And the snow just fell, already even on the beach. And everything has turned completely white around, sealed to barrels of mortar. In 8 hours, they will be ready, and we already have a specific cold snap. Look, the platform is ready. Now the foundation. Since there will still be a basement from below, we will immediately lay a wooden floor. And as I said, we will dig the basement when there is already a roof over our heads. I heard some kind of barrel was prepared. And yes, mortar. The whole way. There was even lime water left. I miscalculated a little. Here, there's a little bit more than a stack. Well, this. It's very profitable. The rise in this place will be exactly 1 block, and it will also be the second part of the house. And where did I throw the ingot? Wait a minute. Quiet, quiet, quiet. After all, the wooden surface can catch fire from the forge. This has never happened before. Okay, for now we'll bypass it, leaving it in such a hole. But this hole has already been sealed with stone bricks. No, this house is clearly going to be a long-term construction. And I finished laying the floor of the first floor, having spent almost the entire maple. We are putting the foundation for the first floor. How to walk slowly in the snow. When will it end? Yes, the ceiling of semi-blocks is cancelled. At least the ceiling of wooden half-blocks does not collapse. It is already pleasing. Then you will have to live with such a not particularly beautiful ceiling, but safe. Somehow it turns out that way. I even put steps here. This will be the entrance to the basement. There is a tree growing here. I couldn't cut it down. It's too beautiful. And also a little land for this tree, barrels and berries that we can collect right from the comfort of home. I want to make a three-dimensional house. Of course, I am a nubasic in terms of construction, and I get semi-boxes. Well, yes, I was building something beautiful, maybe, but from the first time, as a rule, nothing worked out for me. And here it is important not to miss. Although our house is not subject to gravity, but I would like to stick to a realistic style and create some supports, partitions, and other stuff. This is where the fireplace will be. As for me, he belongs here. And we'll make a chimney in the rock. Here is the passage to the spring, and here is the main entrance. Nothing is clear from this side yet, so I will add supports in the process. But here, there will be a balcony with a slanting roof. It is very beautiful and stylish, but quite difficult to manufacture. Something like that. Oh, it turns out to be an excessively large-scale project. Well, through the shift, carefully. And this is how the load-bearing support for the roof will look like. The first doors. Listen up, as if the length of the house needs to be increased by 1 block, because I wanted to put 1 door here, and for this, an odd number of blocks are needed between the load-bearing supports. Remember the flying tree? So it's still flying, and an icicle has grown on it. It's already night. I've finished expanding the house by 1 level, and now 1 door will fit perfectly here. By the way, it's probably already necessary to put a workbench here, so as not to run down 100 times. Well, we'll put the door right now. Well, that's another thing. I've been rummaging through the chests and found some loose leather. Remember we made bellows? Well, that's just what's left. And this means that we can make a jacket out of leather. The main thing is not to miss. Because if I miss, the skin will disappear. I think it's difficult to miss 3 squares. Juhu. Leather jacket. This. Me. I see a bear. So, it's going to be risky. But we will have meat. That's how much should be enough. There is. So, what fell out of you? Wait, are you serious? Did anything fall off him? No, I am. I don't believe it. At least, I do not know. They would have left a bone. Okay, what can we do? We return without a single piece of meat. And by the way, this is what my house looks like at the moment. Where would all these spears go? My trunks are full. Improvised storage. So, the forest is growing. You can already gradually start cutting. And you can also make another coal pit. Three, 4, 5, descent. But it certainly looks. On a large scale. In general, this is all that the tree was enough for. The forest has already grown again, though not all of it, but that's something. And I need 5 more times more maple. But some kind of roof is already looming. As you can understand, maybe it's not so visible yet. I want to make a roof with a bevel. If you step back a little, it will be clear that this is a huge sloping roof, which will have panoramic windows. Although I don't know how to make glass yet, but that's later. And inside, there will be 1 huge floor, and perhaps 2 floors already in the place where this roof will expand. I was laying the roof until night. And I'm already hungry. The screen has already darkened. We need to eat urgently. Just the soup was cooked. Remember, I was talking about 1,000,000 sticks, right? It's time to do the lighting. Oh, it's snowing. But I have already laid the roof. It remains to clean up a little bit here and see if the snow melts from the torches. From above, you still need to bring the roof close to the tree so that it does not blow through. It remains a small matter to learn how to make glass windows, insert a fireplace here and make walls, partitions and rooms. I hope 5 shovels will be enough for snow removal. 1 shovel is left, and everything is cleared. By the way, my cow will give birth in 12 days. We must not forget this solemn moment. And remember, I said that the pen should be built for the winter. Well, yes, I built it. Okay, I cut a bunch of wood again, which means that we can go on building a roof. And I forgot one very important element on the roof. These are visual partitions and supports. The roof turned out to be a pure monolith, but it doesn't happen in reality. And that's why I'm going to add 2 crossbars running along the center of the roof now. And you can, in principle, add them purely to the continuation of these beams here, and they will go straight to the end of the roof. It remains to choose an in-depth version, or like this. Well, I like the in-depth version better, because it's, well, too voluminous or something. At the top of the tree, it will be nice to stick out a little from the roof, as if it were supports. Now the inner one. I'll immediately throw a visual 4 windows. I will remove all the holes through which the cold can potentially pass. Yes, at first I wanted to create such a more open house, but this style of house is not suitable for our climate. On this side, we also put and cut logs. The main thing is to cut down the tree through the shift, otherwise I will vape the whole house at one time. This is already looking very good. Already the house is beginning to take on some interesting appearance. It's already the 13th of October, and I get a house like this. And now the most interesting thing begins. The house is essentially ready, it remains only to glaze the windows. And for glazing, you just need an incredible amount of kelp. So yes, it's October, the temperature is below 0, and we are going to swim in the sea. Yes, it looks beautiful. And the second tier fits just perfectly. And the question, how do I get saltpeter? So I need to get saltpeter dust first. And saltpeter dust. It's better for me not to see these diagrams. And I have yet to plunge into industrialization. I'm a little dumb. I need to combine the treated saltpeter with a hammer and get dust. First of all, do I have saltpeter? Damn, I don't have saltpeter, it turns out. It so happened that I didn't know that the forge needed access to air, and it stopped working. So now I'm digging out a place for a future forge, and, in general, everything that requires access to air. Initially, not knowing about this mechanics, I planned to place all these things in the basement. Well, a part of the furnaces, in principle, can be located in the basement, and the pipes can be removed somewhere here. But it will be inconvenient to run constantly to the basement, so we will make another small branch from the house. A kind of veranda. I think it will be good. We create the necessary conditions. It just needs to be overlaid with a stone and fill the pit with 8 units of coal. Well, and set it on fire. And yes, they work. It's already -10 outside. And I planted palm trees. And they feel just fine. They will grow in 4 days. And I need palm trees for hatches, which are ideal instead of glass for windows. I've also done this climb to the balcony. While I was making the porch, the skin was prepared. Where is she? And now the main thing is to make the right shoes. There are moments of truth. That's the speed of walking in the snow without shoes, as if nothing had changed. No, steps are better here. That's another thing. What kind of damage did I get? Hopefully not from hypothermia. It's hypothermia after all. Kindle. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, I hope it works. It seems not. The temperature is not rising. Take 2. Frozen. but it had to happen sometime. By the way, I have also rearranged the bed. It's good at least not far from home. November, -10, all in the snow. And I have palm trees grown. Yes, don't be surprised. So, that's how many palm trees I chopped. Therefore, we throw a stack into each cell and get the maximum number of hatches. However, I didn't have enough slots. Yeah, that's different. And we begin glazing. How's the glazing? Improvisation, rather. Palm hatches are good because they have a window texture and are almost seamless, unlike other hatches. And at the same time, they are not very leaky, which is not particularly suitable for our climate. So as for me, a temporary solution, while there is no glass. Well, now it's much more cozy. Well, I'm ready to introduce you to my house. This is our main entrance, a huge hall. There will be a fireplace, which is not yet available to me because of the bricks. This is a mini warehouse. There's a woodpile for the fireplace. There is a descent to the basement below. Everything has already gone out here. There are also barrels on a part-time basis. And there is also a huge area where there used to be a cave. And this area will need to be excavated. And this is the exit to our work area. There is also a small porch and a second entrance to the unfinished, half-dug basement. Upstairs to the left of the basement entrance is the kitchen. It is not yet equipped. There is a maximum of a loom, a workbench, and a workbench. And here's a minibar counter or something. It is necessary to put decorations on top, but so far there are no decorative blocks. You can close the hatches like this. Yes, as for me it got better. At the exit, climb to the second floor. It is also closed from snow and cold air. Oh, there are already snowdrifts here. Swept the whole roof. It's snowing again. Well, okay, I don't want to stick my head out here. After all, it's nicer in the warmth. Then a small workplace. A desk. No, not like that. There's a fir tree growing in the center, which I didn't want to chop down. And eventually built a house around it. But I still want to leave such an old tree. Well, plus with her in the house, it looks much more lively. It will be necessary to restore the foliage. I hope that with the help of scissors I can do it. And there is already an exit to the terrace. The first floor of the terrace should be glazed according to the plan. But now I don't have glass, so this is an open terrace. The ascent to the second floor is not yet equipped. You can do it right now. That's it. Then there will be a neat staircase. And here is a summer zone with some kind of warehouse of unnecessary things. This is how the house turned out. Today, we still have to build a little. Maybe even decorate our house. It will be necessary to add volume, make the roof slightly protruding, and continue these logs here, making them supports. But that's not the main thing. The most important thing is to make the same paddock, because snow is falling into it, and at this rate, the animals can simply escape. Litter the horse. No, 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 no. Quiet. Where to stand? Go back. Quickly in the refrigerator. Very, very fast. Don't run away. Don't run away. And where? Where are the sheep? The first one is there. There's a ram on top. And come here. I'll clean up the snow at the same time. And there's another one walking. Come here. In the white snow, it's not so easy to spot a white sheep. But it seems to have caught everyone. That's it, and don't run out anymore. Is that clear? Okay, that's just so that there are no such incidents. You need to build a pen. And I want to build a large-scale corral right away, with a normal roof, and for the future. Therefore, first of all, we cut down all this forest, in place of which there will be a pen. I'm hypothermic again. Well, no, not now. Fuel for the fire. Kindle. There is. But something tells me that the heat of a campfire, even filled to the full, will not be enough. It seems that only from the forge will it be possible to warm up adequately. Yes, you rest here for now. And I went on to cut down the forest. And we warm up the forge, purely to warm up. And it's already 20 degrees. That's what I understand the buzz. How nice it is to see a warm house, warm shelters. And it is necessary, by the way, to feed the sheep, otherwise the domestication will fall. Oh, you can collect wool. So,
Так,
where are
где
my
мои
scissors?
ножницы? У нас
We have our
тоже
first
шерстяной
wool
урожай,
crop,
а я
and
не
I don't
помню,
remember
куда
where I
положил
put the scissors.
ножницы.
One coat,
Одна шерсть.
8 threads will
С
fall
нее
from
выпадет
it.
8 ниток,
And in
а
order to
чтобы
gather wool
насобирать
for a
шерстяную
jacket,
куртку,
you will have to wait a
придется
long
изрядно
time.
подождать.
To
Чтобы
make a
сделать
unit of wool
единицу
for a
шерсти для
jacket,
куртки,
16
нужно
threads are
16
needed,
ниток, а
and the
куртка
jacket is made from
крафтится
8
из
units of wool
8
fabric.
единиц
Well,
шерстяной
actually,
ткани.
we won't be walking in the
Собственно,
heat
в
for
тепле
a
мы
while
будем
yet.
ходить еще не
Okay,
скоро.
well,
Так, ну ладно.
what should we
Что
do
нам
with the
делать
wool?
с шерстью?
To
Для
begin with,
начала
processing on a
обработка на
spindle.
веретене.
The spindle is right
Веретено
here.
прямо здесь.
It's
Это
not
не
difficult.
сложно. Ну и
That's
всё.
it. We
Пока
can't
с
do
этим
anything
ничего
about it
делать
yet.
не можем.
Let's put
Отложим
aside some
какой-нибудь
far-off
дальний
drawer,
ящик,
for example, in
например,
this one,
этот, и будем
and we will
ждать,
wait for the
когда
second
вторая
sheep to
овца
give itself a
даст себя
haircut.
постричь.
So,
Так,
while
спокойной
it's night,
ночи. Я
I
хотел
wanted to fry
пожарить
kelp.
ламинарии.
They were here
Они где-то
somewhere.
тут были.
Did I
Я
leave
их
them
съел,
from
что ли,
below?
оставил?
It's
Правда.
true.
Создадим
Let's
еще
create a
несколько
few more
костров и
bonfires and
начнем
start harvesting food
заготовку
for
еды
the
на
winter.
зиму.
Their
Насыщение у
saturation
них
is
всего
only
лишь
5%,
5%,
but
но
that's
это
something.
хоть что-то.
Moreover,
Более, это
we have this
присутствие у нас
resource in
в
infinite
бесконечной
availability.
доступности.
It can be
Его можно
multiplied.
размножать. Чуть
I'll
попозже
even make
даже
a farm
сделаю
a little
ферму.
later
4
for
элемента
elements of
водорослей, и
algae,
мы
and we get a
получаем
soup of
суп из
algae.
водорослей.
Let's
Давайте
try it out right
попробуем.
now. Yeah,
Ага,
hi.
кайф.
I
Интересно,
wonder
какая
what
у него
kind of
будет
nutritional
питательность.
value it will have. We mark the time.
Засекаем время.
Today is the
Сегодня
10th of
10
November.
ноября.
I
Надеюсь,
hope they will
вырастут
grow
хотя
at
бы за
least in a
неделю.
week.
Осторожно
Carefully
собираем
collect
шерсть.
the wool. The loom.
Ткацкий станок.
I've
Я
never
еще ни
worked
разу
on
на
it
нем не
before.
работал.
Wow,
Ух ты.
it's
Это
like
вот так.
this. Interestingly done.
Интересно сделано.
And
А
then
дальше
what?
что? Ам,
Do I
это
have
мне
to do
16
this
раз
16
нужно
times?
сделать.
Congratulate me.
Поздравьте меня.
I'm
Я
one
на шаг
step
ближе
closer
к
to
тому,
not
чтобы не
freezing.
замерзать.
Now
Теперь
you
можно
need to
подготовить
prepare the
территорию под
territory
будущий
for the
амбар.
future
Здесь
barn,
надо немного
and here you need to
потерраформить,
rub a
снять слой
little,
земли
remove
и
a
даже
layer of
немного
earth,
поработать киркой
and
и
even
снять
work
слой
a little
камня.
with a pickaxe and remove a layer of stone. What is collapsing?
А, мгм.
So the ceiling is also
То есть потолок
collapsing,
тоже
right?
обваливается, да?
It
Надо
will be
будет
necessary to make a frame
сделать
queue
из
out of
frame
frame blocks
и
and
уже
already
сделать
make a ceiling
необваливаемый
that does
потолок.
not
А
collapse.
пока что
In the
вернем
meantime,
ступеньки
let's
на
put the
место.
steps back in place. Well, as for me, it
Ну
turned
что
out
ж,
to be a
по
beautiful
мне,
pen.
красивый загон
Yes,
получился.
it's
Да,
so
он такой
minimalistic, but I tried to
минималистичный,
do
но я
something
постарался
extraordinary.
сделать что-то
I'm freezing again.
неординарное, и я
I'm
снова
freezing again.
замерзаю.
I won't even
Я
have
снова
time to
замерзаю,
warm
я
up the
даже
forge
не
in
успею,
theory.
где кузню
Yes.
разогреть.
Well,
Да?
I don't
А,
have any
угля
coal.
нету.
Yes.
Да.
I'm going to run for coal for now.
Тут у меня
I
тоже
don't have
угля не
any coal
осталось,
left
да?
here either, do I?
GG.
GG. We sit and admire the game. We are waiting for when we freeze from the cold. And here it is TerraFirm. Classic. Let's make simple pens for now. Simple sections. That's the idea, right? Yes, what is highlighted will remain. And if I put the land here, but here, for example, the fence will be like a divider. Immediately it is necessary to put the semi-blocks in a different position. You can just do that. Here, there will also be a separation, and here is a solid block to connect the fence. It's a pity not to make a semi-block out of the ground. But it was too much for them. And now we need to hold the grass. Will the grass be able to germinate in winter or not? No, but I hope he can. I've been preparing for a trip to the mine for graphite, cooked 3 soups, made a spare pickaxe. And then another batch of soup is on the way. I think this amount will be enough for me. The mine, I want to dig right huge, thorough. And what? Oh, great. The grass is spreading. I think I won't move the animals yet. I'll wait until the grass completely fills the pen. Otherwise, they will eat everything. But now I'm going to the mines. If graphite is going to spawn in Gabbro, and if my memory does not change, then here in the tin mine. We just had a Gabbro vein. It remains to find a geological hammer, because geological hammers may even need several pieces. Because graphite is such a thing that you are looking for literally blindly. And listen, and let's make a new one. There was a little bronze left, so we create a mold for the hammer. We take some coal and throw it into the forge. There's a hammer and it's snowing. I hope that one bronze hammer will be enough for us. The current mine should turn out to be simply huge, as far as patience is enough. And in principle, you can go. And seriously, Gabrov mica, bauxite, and if I punch it with a hammer, ionite. This should definitely be noted. In fact, you can start digging a mine right here, but you have to go very deep. So, and somewhere here. Yeah, here it is, my ladder. I hope there is at least something survived. Oh well, listen, there's even Are you serious, huh? And here the main thing is to be careful. Straight to the next staircase. Atmospheric. There have already been landslides. Wow. Well, at least the ceiling is intact. Well, it seems like the mine is whole. This pleases. And even no one slept, surprisingly. All the supports are intact. So here it is a Gabrov breed. Now we're going to start digging it all out. But before that, a life hack. Under the support, you need to put a block that is not affected by gravity. In my case, these are bricks. Yes, it was possible to have boards, but the bricks will be somehow more beautiful. And after that, you can dig the mine deep down, and the supports will hold the ceiling. Unfortunately, we can't remove the block at the top because the mine may collapse. Therefore, there will be some stoves and other decorative stuff. Well, now we calmly unload the inventory and throw everything unnecessary into the chest. What is breaking through in this impasse? Nothing. Oh, saltpeter. But by the way, saltpeter looks like right in the direction of this tunnel, but we will deal with it later. Because the main goal is graphite. Let's go this way now. In general, there is nothing interesting in this wing so far. There is only here. Monazite. I don't know what it is yet, but apparently I don't need it. Guys, I've been looking for graphite in jade. And it turns out that he spawns at an altitude of -65 to -30 in a diamond vein. So you understand, yes. To find graphite, you need to find diamonds. It's going to be a long time. A very long time. And I'm at 26 right now. Damn, and who to believe. In Minecraft, it is written that it will spawn to a height of -30. On the wiki, it is written that at least up to +100. Okay, I'm going to do some more digging here. If I don't find it within a couple of hours, I'll have to go down. In any case, the excavation of this mine will be useful. There's tin here, and there's never much tin. Although, in principle, it is quite a bit necessary for bronze. Okay, whatever, let's go dig further. Let me probably go down after all, because there is not so much strength on the pickaxe anymore. And I just can't physically dig through it for 2 hours. My picks will just break. Yeah, some kind of cave. Let's go. It doesn't seem to be such a big cave. Ah, well though. Look, okay, she's big. I can already see some ore there. Lithium, neck elite, and wolframite. Okay, then we'll see what kind of ore it is. And what is this? Calcite. But this cave goes down. You can walk right along it. Some height. -37, by the way. But the hammer doesn't punch anything. I dug a few more sections, and then some kind of lava lake begins. Let's choose some branch. For example, this. And let's go that way. I hear a skeleton. It is necessary to go out into this cave, as if a landing on my head did not happen now. There he is. Come on, come out. 1. Well? Yes. Ah, he's worried. But we're better off. Wow. Obsidian. My first obsidian. I probably can't get it. I'm tapping the whole cave right now, and I don't find anything. I have a question for the developers. And how do I look for graphite? Yeah, just turned off the recording, and I decided to swim in the lava. I just barely managed to climb out on the stalactite. And that's the question. Has my loot been preserved? This is where I've been digging, and the ground has gone from under my feet. But by the way, everything is fine. I'm floating on the lava surface. But let's move on until the pickaxe breaks. As soon as it breaks down. I don't know. Oops. So, come out. Since I was at the base, I'll fill in another bronze pickaxe. By the way, there were exactly 144 millibucks of bronze in the vessel that was lying next to it. So let's have 2 copper picks at once. And what? There are not many picks, especially when you are looking for graphite. Well, will we have enough or not? And since I often die there, well, as often as possible, so far only twice. I'm still going to take a bed and put a spawn point somewhere in the cave. And I've been digging for who knows how long. I wanted to eat, I ate here. And at the same time, while I was digging, I asked the fumbling guys how to find this fucking graphite. As a result, they told me that they still had to believe the Ruth spawn table. And he would spawn at an altitude of -64 to 100. Therefore, I will return to the development of this main mine, instead of digging at the very bottom, because first of all, lava does not interfere there, and secondly, there are not even any resources there. It turned out to be a good pit. According to the plan, I want to build a wooden miner's house, with various levels, a warehouse, and a bunch of mine entrances in this pit. Here you can immediately put a bed, right in the center. Oh man. I just noticed now that I haven't changed the shaders. I turned on the beads to make screenshots and did not return to the mic-ups. So, I'm ready to introduce you to my mining house. It is located on top. That's how we go in and get into a cozy room. We have everything you need: a workbench, a bed, and a small warehouse. In the future, I will add a few more blocks here that you can interact with. It will even be possible to dig another room here. I will definitely develop it. This will be my central hub among all the mines, and it will be from him that all the remaining mines will dig. Yes, I plan to specifically engage in mining and develop it as if so to say realistically or what. In the meantime, I have some very good news for you. Oh, slugs. Is it also slugs, Chang? That's what I didn't expect, of course. But that's not what I wanted to show you. I was digging this tunnel and came across a side dish. But that's not the main thing. It's here somewhere. I'll show you now. Here. I found it. Traces were found. Diamond, which means I found graphite. And look, I'm just coming up to my mark with the Gaber rocks and with the ores that I marked at the beginning. Something tells me that this is exactly what lived. You know, I don't even want to dig it all up. I just want to continue the mine, and it will pass through the open field. Live broadcast. I picked up some ore, and it turned out to be chemically active. Apparently, I picked up cabaltite. Nice. I made it, and I ran into some kind of cave. There's a creeper walking around. There are 2 creepers. There were 3 of them there. Awesome. What kind of creeper cave is this? They seem to feed on this green ore. Can we go down slowly? Oh, there are 2 more of them. Is there a creeper spawner or what? G. Or maybe not G. G. The skeleton has killed without damage. That's what you should be happy about in this build. But this cave is just with a huge amount of resources. But there is no resource that I need. But since he broke through with a hammer, he's somewhere in a radius of 30 blocks. Come on. A day later, there's just 1,000,000 diamonds, 1,000,000 graphite, and a lot of coal. I'm literally over my mark, which I put at the very beginning of the search. This should definitely be noted. In fact, you can start digging a mine right here. By the way, guys, anyone who finds graphite, I advise you to immediately mine it with a hammer. Otherwise, if ore falls out to you, then you will suffer from grinding it into crushed ore and then into powder. So that's how many resources I've messed up. Quite a lot of diamonds. Almost a stack of graphite. So I suggest we leave here for now. And for me, it's somehow not up to the rubble and not up to this chemically dangerous ore. Hello, dear spawn. By the way, it's already the 3rd of January. I've been in the mine for over a month. My database is old. Oh, I haven't picked up the pumpkins yet. Ah, a rotten pumpkin. And I was told here that if we let the plants die like this, then more seeds will fall from them. It's true. And what should I do? There I am, there's the bear. We're all leaving now. We're leaving, and you don't see me. Everything is nice. The most dense maple forest has already begun. And here it is home. Sweet home. We take the reserves of clay and kaolinite that we have left and go to create a crucible. To create a crucible, we will need kaolinite powder and graphite powder. And with kaolinite powder, yes, there will be some problems, because it cannot be ground on millstones. It needs to be overcooked. But for now, I didn't understand. Oh, I need graphite dust. Well, graphite dust is created with a hammer. Okay, I was afraid that I would have to create some more mechanism. Why does the texture of graphite dust remind me of a pebble from Stardew Valley? Now we are already uploading a whole stack here and nothing happens. Right-click on the boiler too. Oh, so I still need to wash it. And if you just throw it into the water, yes, it works. We get pure graphite dust. And already we are grinding this graphite dust on millstones. It works. Almost 4 stacks of powder. Now the most interesting part. Burnt kaolinite clay. And yes, everything works as I intended. What? No, it's not working the way I intended. She just disappeared. People, I just read that the kaolinite powder falls out with a 20% chance. Are you kidding me? Huh? The game, well, is not so hardcore to be. 1 kaolinite powder. So, everything is ready to create a lump of refractory clay. We craft the maximum number of clumps of clay. It turns out 7 pieces. And we make the shape of an unburned crucible. The quest is completed. There it is. Our first crucible. Oh yes, finally. Long live alloys. How fast it melts. That's what I understand. Well, officially we can say our mission is accomplished, and we are one step closer to the Iron Age. So my first film has come to an end, the crafting company has lost, and my first survival has also come to an end. Thank you so much for watching it to the end. Be sure to write as you like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget about the like. Unfortunately, Greg's TerraFirm burned out. For me, this assembly turned out to be well too stuffy. It's just that when I chose the assembly for the first pass, I didn't even have experience yet. I'm like, oh, realistic survival, oh, space flights. Well, it's just awesome. And then farm graphite for 10 real hours, and so on. Therefore, at the moment I am recording a classic TerraFirm. Of course, there is also enough pharma in it, but there is no GregTech there.